All right, so we're diving into something today that's really got the art world buzzing right now.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
It's AI.
It's everywhere.
And specifically how it's impacting 3D artists.
Yeah.
And you sent me some fascinating sources, including this really lively Reddit discussion about the future of 3D art.
It's a hot topic.
It is. And, it seems like a lot of artists are feeling the pressure. They're worried AI might make their skills obsolete.
Absolutely. It's understandable to feel that way. I mean, just the speed at which AI can generate visuals now is...
It's mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing. It's eye-opening.
Yeah.
But... if you look closer at that Reddit thread, you'll see that a lot of artists are actually finding ways to use AI to their advantage.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, one commenter put it perfectly, I thought. They said, you won't lose your job to AI.
Right.
You'll lose it to someone who knows how to use AI.
That's a great point. It's almost like a new kind of literacy.
Yeah, for the creative world.
It really is.
But where do you even begin? Especially if you're just starting out in 3D art.
Right.
It can feel pretty overwhelming.
Absolutely. And that's where platforms like NVIDIA Omniverse come in.
Okay, NVIDIA Omniverse. So what is that?
So what's fascinating about Omniverse is that it combines a powerful suite of 3D creation tools with some really sophisticated AI features, all within a collaborative environment.
Okay, hold on. Collaborative? So you're telling me beginners can work alongside other artists
precisely
in this Omniverse thing?
Imagine being a beginner and having the ability to collaborate with more experienced artists in real time.
Whoa.
Share your work, get feedback, even learn directly from mentors.
That's pretty cool.
It's a game changer for anyone trying to get a foothold in the 3D art world.
Yeah, that's a really cool aspect I hadn't even considered.
Yeah.
Be built-in mentorship. But let's talk about those AI features. You mentioned something about audio two-face.
Yeah.
And it sounds a bit like magic to me. How does that even work?
Well, it's all powered by a neural network.
Okay.
You feed it an audio track.
Okay.
And it automatically generates realistic facial animations.
Wow.
Think about how long it would normally take to animate every lip sync, every subtle eyebrow raise.
Yeah.
Audio Two-Face can do all of that in a fraction of the time.
So it's not replacing the animator's skill entirely.
Right.
But it's definitely taking care of some of the more tedious aspects
Absolutely.
of the process.
Yeah.
That frees up a lot of time to focus on the finer details, the nuances that really bring a character to life.
Exactly. And for beginners who are still learning the ropes of animation, Audio Two-Face can be an incredible tool to experiment with and see how different sounds translate into facial expressions.
So almost like a learning...
Having an AI assistant helping you understand the fundamentals of animation
in
a really hands-on way.
Cool. I'm starting to see how these AI tools can be really powerful learning aids. It's not just about generating cool effects. It's about demystifying complex processes.
Yeah.
Now, there was another feature that really caught my eye.
Yeah.
Janverse 3D. What's the story with that?
Janverse 3D. This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
It uses a type of AI called a generative adversarial network.
Okay.
Or GAN.
Yeah, Jan.
Essentially, you have two neural networks competing against each other.
Okay.
One tries to generate realistic 3D models from 2D images, while the other acts as a discriminator, trying to spot the fakes.
Okay, I'm following so far. But how does this competition actually help create better 3D models?
So through this constant back and forth, the generator network gets better and better at creating realistic models. The discriminator forces it to refine its output until it's virtually indistinguishable from real 3D data.
So it's like a constant feedback loop that pushes the AI to improve.
Yeah.
Skills. That's pretty cool.
It is. And for a beginner who might not have the technical expertise to create complex 3D models from scratch, Janverse 3D opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
Wow.
Imagine being able to take a simple sketch or a photo and transform it into a 3D model ready for animation or game development.
That sounds like a game changer, especially for those who are just starting out.
Right.
And may feel intimidated by the technical aspects of 3D modeling.
It allows you to focus on the creative side of things, experimenting with different shapes, textures, and concepts, without getting bogged down in the complexities of traditional 3D modeling software.
I'm already seeing how Omniverse is setting itself apart as more than just another 3D platform. It's almost like a virtual studio where beginners can learn, experiment, and collaborate, all while being exposed to cutting-edge AI tools.
That's a great way to put it. It's really changing the landscape of how people can learn and grow as 3D artists.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And what's exciting is that Omniverse isn't just limited to character creation and animation.
Right.
It also has powerful tools for building entire virtual worlds.
Okay.
Which is something that often feels out of reach for beginners.
Yeah. World building can seem incredibly daunting.
It can be.
Where do you even start?
That's where Omniverse's pre-built assets and environments come in.
Okay.
They provide a foundation for beginners to explore and experiment with without having to build everything from scratch.
Got it.
It's like having a virtual Lego set.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
For creating immersive worlds.
Yeah.
It takes away that initial hurdle of feeling overwhelmed by the sheer scope of world building.
Exactly.
But what about the technical side of things?
Okay.
Like, how do you make sure all the different elements work together seamlessly?
Omniverse has a feature called connectors.
Connectors.
Which essentially act as bridges between different 3D applications and game engines. This means that beginners can bring in assets and tools they're already familiar with, like Maya or Blender.
Got it.
And integrate them into their Omniverse projects.
So it's not about forcing you to learn a whole new set of tools.
Right.
It's about making your existing workflow more efficient.
Yeah.
And collaborative. That's really smart.
Exactly. And for beginners who are still experimenting with a different software, this kind of flexibility is essential.
Makes sense.
It allows them to explore different approaches to 3D art without feeling locked into a specific platform.
Okay, so we've got these amazing collaborative features, AI-powered tools, and a massive library of pre-built assets.
Right.
But how does all of this actually translate into learning real-world skills for beginners?
Well, one of the biggest challenges for beginners is finding structured learning pathways.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to get lost in tutorials and online resources.
Totally.
But Omniverse takes a different approach.
Good.
They have curated learning paths specifically designed for beginners, covering everything from the fundamentals of 3D modeling to character animation and world building.
Having a clear roadmap like that is so valuable when you're first starting out.
It is.
It can really help you stay focused and motivated and avoid feeling overwhelmed by the sheer amount of information out there.
And these learning paths aren't just passive videos or text tutorials. They're interactive and hands-on, allowing beginners to apply what they're learning directly within Omniverse.
That's pretty cool.
It's like having a virtual instructor guiding you through each step of the process.
That's incredible. It's like bridging the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical application, which is often where beginners struggle the most.
Exactly. And because Omniverse is a collaborative platform, beginners can also connect with other learners, share their work, and get feedback from more experienced artists.
It creates like a support system.
It creates a supportive learning environment where everyone can grow and develop their skills together.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about fostering a community of learners who can support and inspire each other.
Precisely. And that's what makes Omniverse so unique.
Yeah.
It's not just a collection of tools. It's a platform for learning, collaboration, and creative growth.
Now I have to ask about the elephant in the room.
Okay.
We've talked about all these amazing features and benefits for beginners, but is there a cost associated with using Omniverse?
Yeah.
Because a lot of beginners are working with limited budgets.
That's a great question and one that often comes up.
Yeah.
The good news is that Omniverse has a free version that gives beginners access to a wide range of tools and features.
That's great.
It's a great way to get started and explore the platform without any financial commitment.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It makes this incredible technology accessible to anyone who's passionate about 3D art, regardless of their financial situation.
And as beginners progress and their needs evolve, they can explore the paid versions of Omniverse, which offer even more advanced features and capabilities.
Okay, I'm really impressed with what I'm hearing about Omniverse. It seems like they've really thought through the needs of beginners and created a platform that's both powerful and accessible.
They have, and what's exciting is that they're constantly innovating and adding new features.
That's great.
They recently introduced a tool called Omniverse Create.
Omniverse Create.
Which is specifically designed for real-time collaboration and world building. It's like having a virtual film set where artists can work together seamlessly regardless of their physical location.
Wow, that's next level collaboration.
Yeah.
It really opens up possibilities for remote work and international teams.
It does, and for beginners who are looking to break into the industry,
Yeah.
this kind of experience is invaluable.
Yeah.
It gives them a taste of what it's like to work on professional projects and collaborate with other artists in a real-world setting.
You know, listening to you talk about all these features,
Yeah.
I can't help but think back to that Reddit thread and all the anxieties people were expressing about AI replacing artists.
Right.
But it seems like platforms like Omniverse are actually doing the opposite.
Yeah.
They're empowering artists, giving them new tools to express their creativity, and creating opportunities for learning and collaboration that didn't exist before.
That's a really insightful observation.
Yeah.
It's not about AI versus humans.
Right.
It's about finding ways for them to work together
to
push the boundaries of what's possible in art and creativity.
It's almost like AI is becoming a partner
Yeah.
in the creative process rather than a threat. And that's a really exciting shift to witness.
It is. It is.
It feels like we've only just scratched the surface of what's possible with Omniverse.
Yeah, there's so much to explore.
But I'm curious, from all your research, what are some of the most innovative ways you've seen artists using Omniverse?
Well, one area that's particularly fascinating is virtual production.
Okay, virtual production.
Filmmakers and game developers are using Omniverse to create incredibly realistic virtual sets and environments.
Wow. So they don't have to actually build these sets.
Allowing actors and directors to interact with digital elements in real time.
So it's like blurring the lines.
It is.
Between the physical and digital world.
Exactly. And for beginners who are interested in film or game design, this opens up incredible opportunities to experiment with different camera angles, lighting techniques, and even special effects.
Without the constraints.
Without the constraints of a physical set.
Of a physical set.
Yeah.
That sounds like a game changer for independent filmmakers.
It is.
Who might not have the resources for large-scale production.
Absolutely. And it's not just about creating realistic environments.
Yeah.
Artists are using Omniverse to design everything from architectural visualizations to product prototypes and even immersive art installations.
I'm really struck by the sheer versatility of this platform. It's not limited to a specific industry or art form.
It's true. Omniverse is becoming a central hub for all kinds of creative endeavors.
It seems like it.
And as AI continues to evolve, we can only imagine the possibilities will become even more expansive.
You know, one of the things that's been really exciting to explore in this deep dive is how AI tools are actually fostering a more inclusive and accessible creative landscape.
I completely agree. Tools like Audio Two-Face and Janverse 3D are breaking down traditional barriers to entry, making it easier for people from diverse backgrounds and skill levels to participate in the world of 3D art.
And with the platforms like Omniverse providing free access and structured learning pathways, the opportunities for growth and development are truly remarkable.
It's really amazing.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I think we're witnessing a democratization of creativity, where the tools and resources that were once only available to a select few are now within reach of anyone with a passion and an internet connection.
Exciting.
It's inspiring to think about all the untapped creative potential that's out there just waiting to be unlocked.
Absolutely. And as more people gain access to these tools and resources, I think we'll see an explosion of new and innovative art forms emerge.
It's an exciting time to be a creative, that's for sure. All right, so algorithms making art. It's a fascinating world, and you've shared your interest in AI's impact on 3D art, especially, its future on platforms like YouTube. And I have to admit, this is a topic that has me both excited and a little nervous.
Yeah, I think that's a very natural reaction to the kind of seismic shift we're seeing. And it's interesting you bring up YouTube because a lot of what we're going to unpack today is very, very relevant to content creation.
Perfect, because we have two really interesting sources for today's deep dive. First, we've got this article, The Creative Spark, Artists Thriving in the AI Revolution, which seems to have a pretty optimistic take on things. And then we have this Reddit thread from the Cinema 4D community, which feels a bit more on edge.
Yeah. That tension between optimism and anxiety is something we see a lot right now. The Reddit thread especially really captures the immediate fears a lot of 3D artists are feeling. There's a real sense of, am I about to be obsolete?
Yeah, and it's not just paranoia. There were people in the thread sharing stories about losing work to AI, agencies going for the quicker, cheaper option, even if it means sacrificing that human touch.
It's a valid concern, especially for those smaller, bread and butter jobs. Think about product visualizations, simple animations, things clients need quickly and on a budget. AI can crank those out rapidly, and for some clients, good enough is all that matters.
That makes me think of this one comment that really stuck with me. It said, "You won't be replaced by AI, you'll be replaced by someone who knows how to use it." It's almost like the skill set is shifting from the art itself to understanding how to direct the AI to make the art.
Exactly. That's actually a concept the Creative Spark article dives into as well. They talk about artists becoming more like creative directors, guiding AI tools to create. Much like we now use software instead of chiseling stone, it's still artistry. But the tools are evolving.
So instead of spending hours on retopology, for example, a 3D artist could feed some basic parameters into an AI and let it handle that part. Then they could focus on the things AI isn't so good at, like imbuing the piece with emotion, crafting the story, making those nuanced choices that give it soul.
That's the optimistic scenario. And there are definitely artists already using AI this way. It's like having a superpowered assistant handling the grunt work, freeing you up for the high-level creativity. But the Reddit thread also raises a darker possibility.
Which is?
Well, several users brought up the idea of studios training AI on their own past work, essentially teaching the AI to mimic their specific style, making them replaceable. If a studio can get near identical results without paying an artist, what's stopping them?
Okay, that is a little unsettling, but couldn't you argue that even if AI can perfectly copy a style, it's still missing that original spark? Like, who comes up with the ideas in the first place? Who decides what to create?
That's a crucial question. The Creative Spark argues that AI can be a powerful tool for generating initial concepts. But it's still the human artist who chooses which direction to take, which ideas to develop, what emotion to evoke.
So maybe it's less about AI replacing artists, and more about a shift in the kind of artist that will be in demand. Someone who's not just skilled in traditional techniques, but also in things like Prompt engineering, right? Knowing how to communicate with the AI to get the results you want.
Absolutely. And this is where your interest in YouTube comes in. Imagine being able to generate custom 3D assets for your videos, all from simple prompts. Want a futuristic cityscape for your intro? Describe it to the AI, and it might just whip it up for you.
That's incredible. Though, I imagine there's a learning curve to getting good at crafting those prompts. It's probably not as simple as typing, make me something cool.
Right. It's not magic,
Yeah.
but the potential is there. And think about the impact on content creation as a whole. Right now, 3D art is relatively niche on YouTube, partly because of the skill barrier. What happens when AI makes it accessible to anyone?
We could see a huge influx of creators using 3D elements, pushing the boundaries of what's possible visually. It'd be like that moment when everyone suddenly got access to decent video editing software. The quality and creativity just exploded.
Exactly. But it also raises some interesting questions. Will there be an oversaturation of generic AI-generated content? Will viewers start to crave the human touch even more? Will there be a new kind of connoisseurship, being able to tell what's human-made versus machine-made?
So many possibilities, and it feels like we're just at the very beginning of this transformation. But let's zoom in a bit. We've talked about the broad anxieties and opportunities, but what are some specific ways AI is already impacting the world of 3D art? What stood out to you from both the article and the Reddit thread?
Well, from the Reddit thread, it was clear that a lot of artists are already experimenting with tools like TurboSquid, which is developing AI-powered 3D modeling software. Imagine being able to generate complex, optimized 3D assets from simple sketches or text prompts.
That sounds amazing. Especially for someone like me who can barely draw a stick figure.
Yeah.
But how far off is this kind of technology really? Is it something YouTubers can start playing with now? Or is it more like a distant future thing?
That's a great question. And it ties into some of the more optimistic predictions in the Creative Spark. The article suggests that we're closer than we think to seeing AI tools that can generate 3D models from simple descriptions. Imagine typing in something like, create a 3D model of a robot walking through a futuristic city, and the AI spits out a starting point that you can then refine and customize.
That would completely change the game for content creators.
Like, why?
Wouldn't there be a risk of everything looking the same if everyone is using the same AI tool?
It's a valid concern, but the article also points out that AI can be used to generate a wide range of styles and aesthetics. It's not just about creating cookie-cutter models. Think about it like this. Imagine AI as a kind of creative partner, a collaborator that can help you explore new visual ideas and push the boundaries of your own style. You provide the initial spark, the concept, the direction, and the AI helps you bring that vision to life in a way that you might not have been able to achieve on your own. It's like having a virtual brainstorming partner that can generate an endless stream of possibilities. You can then pick and choose the ideas that resonate with you, combine them, refine them, and add your own unique touch.
So it's not about replacing the artist, but about amplifying their creative potential. I like that. It's like AI can handle the technical heavy lifting, allowing artists to focus on the higher level creative decisions.
Exactly. And this brings us to another interesting aspect of this evolution, which is the shift in skills that will be in demand. The Creative Spark talks about the rise of what they call the AI art director.
The AI art director, what does that even mean?
Well, it's someone who understands both the artistic side and the technical side of AI. They know how to use AI tools effectively, but they also have a strong artistic vision and the ability to guide the AI towards creating something truly unique and meaningful.
So it's like you need to be fluent in both the language of art and the language of AI. You need to know how to communicate your ideas to the machine in a way that it understands, while also being able to shape and refine the output.
To match
your vision.
Exactly. It's a whole new skill set that's emerging, and it's one that I think will be incredibly valuable in the years to come, especially for content creators on YouTube.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just imagine the possibilities for YouTubers who are creating 3D animations, visual effects, or even just custom thumbnails for their videos.
Yeah.
If you know how to use AI effectively, you can create some truly mind-blowing content.
And it's not just about the visual aspect. AI can also be used to enhance the audio side of content creation. Imagine AI tools that can help you create custom sound effects, music scores, or even voiceovers, all tailored to the specific needs of your video.
Okay, now that's really interesting. You know, I always struggled with finding the right music for my videos. It would be amazing to have an AI that could analyze my video and generate a custom soundtrack that perfectly matches the mood and tone.
Exactly. And that's just scratching the surface. The Creative Spark touches on AI tools that can help with things like video editing, script writing, and even audience engagement. Imagine an AI that can analyze your video and suggest ways to improve the pacing, the storytelling, or the visual appeal.
It's like having a virtual editor and creative consultant all rolled into one. But does this mean that human creativity will become less important? Will we all just become button pushers, relying on AI to do all the heavy lifting?
That's a question that a lot of people are grappling with. But the creative spark makes a strong argument that AI, at least in its current form, is more of a collaborator than a competitor. It's a tool that can help us push the boundaries of our own creativity, not replace it entirely.
So it's like instead of fearing AI, we should be embracing it as a partner in the creative process, a partner that can help us achieve things that we never could have imagined on our own.
Exactly, and it's important to remember that AI is still in its early stages of development. The tools are evolving rapidly, and we're constantly discovering new ways to use AI to enhance and transform the creative process.
It's like we're on the cusp of a new creative renaissance, fueled by the power of artificial intelligence. And I'm curious to know, from your perspective, what are some of the most exciting developments happening right now in the world of AI art? The article and the Reddit thread both mention a few, but what really stands out to you?
Well, from the Reddit thread, there was a lot of buzz around text-to-3D generation, which we touched on earlier. Imagine being able to create complex 3D models simply by describing them to the AI.
Right, that's the make me a talking dog wearing a detective hat scenario. But is that really feasible? I mean, I can barely explain what I want to a human artist, let alone a machine.
It's certainly a challenge, and it requires a different way of thinking about the creative process. But the creative spark points to a number of companies that are making incredible strides in this area. They mention a company called NVIDIA, for example, which has developed an AI model called Gauguin.
Gauguin?
Yeah.
Name sounds familiar.
It's named after the post-impressionist painter, Paul Gauguin, and it's essentially an AI-powered painting program that can create photorealistic landscapes from simple sketches.
Wait, so you're saying I could draw a stick figure mountain range, and this AI will turn it into a breathtaking vista?
Exactly. You can even choose different materials and textures for your landscape, like grass, rocks, water. And the AI will seamlessly blend them together to create a photorealistic image.
Wow, that's incredible. I can see how that would be a game changer for creating 3D environments. Not to mention how much fun it would be to just play around with.
Absolutely. And it's not just landscapes. NVIDIA is also developing AI models that can generate 3D models and textures, from sketches or even text prompts.
So you could sketch out a rough idea for a character or object, and the AI would help you flesh it out into a fully realized 3D model. That would be amazing for YouTubers who are creating animated content, or even just custom props for their videos.
And it gets even more interesting. The Creative Spark also mentions Google's AI project, Magenta, which focuses on generating artistic styles.
Okay, so I know Google for search and email, but how does that translate to art?
Well, Magenta has developed an AI model that can learn from examples of your own artwork, and then generate new images in that same style. Imagine being able to create an entire series of illustrations or animations with a consistent AI-generated visual style.
That would be incredible. It would be like having a personal art assistant that can help you develop and maintain a unique visual identity for your YouTube channel. But wouldn't that risk creating a kind of homogenized aesthetic where everyone's work starts to look the same?
That's a valid concern. But Magenta can also be used to create completely new and unexpected artistic styles that have never been seen before. It's like having an AI muse that can help you break out of your creative comfort zone and explore new artistic territories.
That sounds amazing. It's like AI can help us push the boundaries of what's possible in art, creating styles and aesthetics that we humans might never have imagined on our own.
Exactly. And it's not just about creating new styles. Magenta can also be used to enhance existing art forms. They've developed an AI model, for example, that can colorize black and white photos, bringing them to life in vibrant color.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. I could see how that would be amazing for restoring old photos.
Yeah.
Or even for creating unique artistic effects by colorizing modern images.
Exactly. And it's not just Google and NVIDIA that are pushing the boundaries of AI art. There are countless other companies and research labs around the world that are developing amazing tools and techniques. It's a truly exciting time to be involved in this field.
It really does feel like we're on the verge of something extraordinary. But amidst all this excitement about the potential of AI, there's also a lot of anxiety, especially in the Reddit thread. Many 3D artists are worried about job security, about being replaced by algorithms. How do we reconcile these two perspectives?
It's a tension that we can't ignore. And while the creative spark focuses on the positive aspects of AI, the Reddit thread provides a valuable reality check. It's important to acknowledge those fears and concerns, and to have open and honest conversations about the potential impact of AI on the art world.
You're right. We can't just pretend that everything is going to be rosy. There are going to be challenges. And there will likely be some displacement as the industry adapts.
But I think it's also important to remember that art has always been about adapting and evolving. Think about the invention of photography, for example. Many painters at the time felt threatened. But photography ultimately led to new forms of artistic expression and expanded the boundaries of what art could be.
So you're saying that AI, like photography before it, might initially disrupt the art world, but ultimately lead to new and exciting possibilities.
Exactly. And just as photography didn't replace painting, I don't think AI will replace human artists. Instead, it will challenge us to rethink our roles, to develop new skills, and to find new ways to collaborate with technology.
I love that perspective. It's about seeing AI not as a threat, but as a catalyst for growth and innovation. But for 3D artists who are feeling anxious right now, who are worried about losing their jobs to algorithms, what advice would you give them?
First and foremost, I would say don't panic. Change can be scary, but it can also be incredibly exciting. See this as an opportunity to learn and grow, to expand your skill set, and to explore new creative avenues.
So rather than resisting AI, embrace it as a tool, a partner that can help you take your art to the next level.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment. Play around with the different AI tools that are available. See what sparks your imagination, and find ways to incorporate those tools into your existing workflow. You might be surprised at what you can create.
I think that's really empowering advice. It's about taking control of your own creative destiny and seeing AI not as something to fear, but as something to leverage, to explore, and to ultimately master.
And remember, community is everything. Connect with other artists, share your experiences, learn from each other. There's a wealth of knowledge and support out there, especially in online communities like the Cinema 4D Reddit thread we've been discussing.
Absolutely. It's about coming together, sharing ideas, and supporting each other through this exciting and transformative time.
And as we delve deeper into this topic, I think it's crucial to address the elephant in the room, the question that keeps popping up in both the article and the Reddit thread, the question of originality in the age of AI.
Okay, yeah, that's a big one. If an AI can mimic any art style, if it can create a photorealistic landscape from a simple sketch, what does that mean for the concept of originality? Will we even be able to tell the difference between human-made and AI-generated art?
That's a question that philosophers, art critics, and even computer scientists are wrestling with. The creative spark suggests that the line between human and machine creativity is becoming increasingly blurred, and that we may need to redefine what it means to be an original artist.
So maybe it's less about who created the art, and more about the ideas behind it, the message, the emotion that it evokes. Perhaps the human touch will be found in the curation, the selection, the arrangement of AI-generated elements, to create something truly unique and meaningful.
That's an interesting perspective, and it raises another intriguing question. Will we reach a point where AI can generate not just styles, but also ideas? Will machines be able to conceive of artistic concepts that humans never could have imagined?
Whoa, no, that's a mind-boggling thought. I mean, we've already seen AI creating music, writing poetry, even generating movie scripts. Is it so far-fetched to think that AI could one day come up with entirely new art forms, new ways of expressing ourselves that we humans haven't even conceived of?
It's definitely a possibility, and it's one that both excites and terrifies me. On the one hand, I'm eager to see what incredible new forms of art AI might unlock. On the other hand, I can't help but wonder if we risk losing something essential, something uniquely human, in the process.
That's a profound thought. It's like, if AI can do everything that we can do, and perhaps even more, what does that say about us? What does it mean to be human in a world where machines can create art that is indistinguishable from our own?
These are questions that we'll be grappling with for years to come, and I don't think there are easy answers. But I believe that the exploration itself, the journey of trying to understand the relationship between human and machine creativity, is incredibly valuable.
Absolutely. And it's a journey that I'm excited to be a part of. But let's bring this back to something a bit more concrete. We've talked a lot about the theoretical implications of AI for art and content creation. But how is this actually playing out in the real world, especially for 3D artists and content creators on YouTube? What are some specific examples of AI being used to create compelling 3D content?
Well, one example that comes to mind is the work of Refik Anadol, a Turkish-American media artist and director. who's known for creating immersive, data-driven installations and sculptures.
Graphic Anadol. Okay. I'm not familiar with his work. Tell me more.
What's fascinating about Anadol is that he uses AI as a central part of his creative process. He takes massive data sets, things like architectural data, cityscapes, even brainwave patterns, and feeds them into AI algorithms to create these stunning visual experiences.
Wait, brainwave patterns? That's wild. So he's using AI to translate brain activity into art.
Exactly. One of his most famous installations is called Melting Memories, and it was created using data from brain scans. It's this incredible, fluid, ever-changing visual representation of the human mind. And it wouldn't have been possible without AI.
Wow, that sounds incredible. And it really speaks to the potential of AI to unlock new forms of artistic expression, to go beyond the limitations of traditional media, and explore the world in a completely different way.
Exactly. And what's so inspiring about Anadol's work is that it's not just about the technology. It's about using AI to explore profound questions about human consciousness, memory, and perception.
That's really amazing. It's like AI isn't just a tool for creating pretty pictures. It's a tool for understanding ourselves, for exploring the world around us in new and unexpected ways.
And it's not just about creating art for galleries or museums. AI is also being used to create compelling 3D content for online platforms like YouTube. One example that comes to mind is the work of Corridor Digital, a YouTube channel that's known for its high-quality visual effects and action sequences.
Oh, I love Corridor Digital. They do some really amazing stuff. I've always wondered how they managed to create such realistic effects on a YouTube budget. Are you saying they're using AI to do that?
They are. In a recent video, they talked about how they're using AI-powered tools to help them create more realistic and complex visual effects. For example, they used an AI tool to generate realistic smoke and fire effects for one of their action scenes.
Wow, that's so cool. I never would have guessed that they were using AI. It just looks so realistic.
And that's the beauty of it. AI is becoming so sophisticated that it's often difficult to distinguish between what's real and what's computer-generated. And this opens up a whole world of possibilities for YouTubers who are creating content that relies on visual effects or 3D animation.
Absolutely. Imagine being able to create Hollywood-level effects without having a Hollywood-sized budget. That would be a game changer for independent filmmakers and content creators.
And it's not just about visual effects. AI can also be used to enhance the storytelling and engagement of 3D content on YouTube. Imagine AI tools that can help you create interactive 3D experiences, where viewers can explore virtual environments, interact with characters, and even influence the storyline.
That would be incredible. It would be like blurring the line between video games and YouTube videos, creating a whole new level of immersion and engagement for viewers. But with all these amazing possibilities, I also wonder about the potential downsides. Are there any risks associated with relying too heavily on AI for content creation?
That's a crucial question to consider. And I think one of the biggest risks is the potential for AI to homogenize content. If everyone is using the same AI tools and algorithms, it's possible that we'll start to see a lack of originality and diversity in the content that's being produced.
That's a valid concern. It's like if everyone is using the same presets and filters in their photo editing software, eventually all the photos start to look the same. We could end up with a sea of generic AI-generated content that lacks personality and soul.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to use AI as a tool for enhancing our own creativity, not for replacing it. It's about finding ways to combine the power of AI with our own unique perspectives, experiences, and artistic visions.
So it's not about letting the AI take over. It's about using AI to amplify our own creative voices, to push the boundaries of what's possible, and to create content that is truly original and engaging.
Well said. And I think that's a great segue into our next topic, the potential impact of AI on the creator economy.
Okay, the creator economy. That's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. With the rise of platforms like YouTube, Twitch, and Patreon, more and more people are making a living from their creative work. How do you see AI influencing this trend?
Well, on the one hand, I think AI has the potential to empower creators, giving them access to tools and resources that were previously only available to large studios and corporations. We've already talked about how AI can help with things like 3D modeling, animation, visual effects, even music and sound design.
Right, so AI could level the playing field, allowing independent creators to produce content that rivals the quality of big-budget productions.
Exactly. And this could lead to a surge in the number of creators who are able to make a sustainable living from their work. We could see a whole new generation of artists, filmmakers, musicians, and writers, who are able to reach a global audience and build successful careers without needing the backing of traditional gatekeepers.
That's an incredibly exciting prospect. It's like AI could democratize the creative process, giving anyone with a story to tell the power to share it with the world.
But there's also a flip side to this coin. As AI makes it easier and cheaper to create high-quality content, it also increases the competition. We could see a flood of AI-generated content that overwhelms audiences and makes it harder for individual creators to stand out.
That's a valid concern. It's like, if everyone has access to the same tools, how do you differentiate yourself? How do you create something that's truly unique and compelling?
That's where the human element becomes even more important. In a world saturated with AI-generated content, I think the creators who will thrive are those who can bring something special to the table. A unique perspective, a compelling voice, a deep understanding of their audience.
So it's not enough to just be technically proficient. You also need to have that X factor, that spark of creativity that sets you apart from the crowd.
Exactly. And I think that spark will come from the things that AI can't replicate: our emotions, our experiences, our relationships, our understanding of the human condition.
So in a way, AI might actually push us to become more human, more authentic, more in touch with the things that make us unique and special.
I believe so, and I think that's a beautiful thing. In a world that's increasingly dominated by technology, it's our humanity that will ultimately set us apart and allow us to create art that truly resonates with others.
I love that. It's like AI is forcing us to confront the very essence of what it means to be creative, to be human. And that's a conversation that I'm eager to continue exploring.
Me too. And I think it's a conversation that will only become more important as AI continues to evolve and shape the future of art and the creator economy. But for now, let's take a step back and consider the bigger picture. We've talked a lot about the practical implications of AI for art and content creation. But what about the philosophical implications? How is AI challenging our fundamental understanding of art and creativity?
Okay, now that's getting really deep.
Yep.
But I'm game if you are. Where do we even begin with such a broad question?
Well, I think one of the most fundamental questions is this. If an AI can create art that is indistinguishable from human art, does that mean that AI is truly creative? Or is it simply mimicking human creativity?
That's a tough one. I mean, we've seen AI creating paintings, music, even poetry that is incredibly impressive. But is it truly original? Does it have that spark of inspiration that we associate with human creativity?
That's a debate that's raging in the art world right now, and the creative spark actually touches on this, arguing that AI can be a source of inspiration, a collaborator that can help us see the world in new ways and generate ideas that we might never have come up with on our own.
So it's like maybe the line between human and machine creativity isn't so clear-cut. Maybe it's more of a spectrum, with AI playing an increasingly active role in the creative process.
Exactly. And I think this blurring of lines is actually pushing us to rethink our own definitions of creativity. What does it mean to be creative in a world where machines can create things that we once thought were uniquely human?
It's like AI is forcing us to confront our own biases and assumptions about what creativity is and where it comes from.
And that's a good thing. It's pushing us to evolve our understanding of creativity and to recognize that it's not something that's limited to humans. It's a force that can exist in many forms, including in the algorithms and code that power AI.
I never thought about it that way before. But it makes sense. I mean, if we define creativity as the ability to generate new and original ideas, then surely AI can be considered creative. But does that mean that AI can replace human artists?
That's a question that a lot of people are worried about, and it's one that I think will continue to be debated for years to come. But I don't think AI will ever truly replace human artists.
Oh, why is that?
Because I believe that art is ultimately about connection. It's about expressing our emotions, our experiences, our perspectives, and sharing those things with others. And while AI can certainly mimic these things, I don't think it can ever truly replicate them. It lacks the lived experience, the empathy, the vulnerability that makes human art so powerful and moving.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like AI can create technically perfect art, but it might lack the soul, the heart that comes from the human experience.
Exactly. And I think that's what will continue to draw us to human art, even in a world where AI can create art that is technically superior.
So it's not about the technical skill. It's about the emotional connection. It's about the artist's ability to touch our hearts and minds and make us feel something.
Beautifully put. And I think that's a powerful message to leave our listeners with as we wrap up this part of our deep dive.
I agree. But before we move on, I'd love to hear your thoughts on one more question. We've talked about how AI can be used to create art, but can it also be used to appreciate art? Can AI help us understand and experience art in new ways?
That's a fascinating question, and it's one that I think is just starting to be explored. There are researchers who are developing AI algorithms that can analyze artworks and identify the emotions that they evoke, the themes that they explore, the techniques that they employ.
So you're saying that AI could potentially help us see things in art that we might have missed on our own?
Exactly. It's like having an AI art critic that can provide insights and perspectives that we might not have considered. And this could be especially valuable for people who are new to art or who are trying to understand complex or abstract works.
That's really interesting. It's like AI could act as a bridge between the artist and the audience, helping us to connect with art on a deeper level. But wouldn't that risk taking away some of the magic of art? I mean, isn't part of the joy of art the freedom to interpret it in our own way, to bring our own experiences and emotions to the viewing experience?
That's a valid point, and I don't think AI should ever dictate how we should experience art, but I do think it can enhance our appreciation and understanding by providing context, insights, and even alternative interpretations.
So it's like AI can be a guide, a companion on our artistic journey, but it's ultimately up to us to decide how we experience and interpret the art that we encounter.
Exactly. And I believe that this combination of human and machine perspectives will lead to a richer and more fulfilling artistic experience for everyone.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, from anxieties about AI replacing artists to this mind-blowing idea of AI actually making us more creative. It feels like a lot to process.
Yeah, it really is a paradigm shift, and there's no one right answer about how this all unfolds. But what I think is valuable is that you're asking these questions now. You're thinking about how AI will impact your own work on YouTube, and that's a huge advantage.
You're right. I don't want to be caught off guard.
Yeah.
So to bring it back down to earth a bit, what are some concrete steps someone like me, a 3D artist interested in YouTube content, can take today to prepare for this AI-powered future?
Great question. First, I'd say start experimenting with the tools that are already out there, even if they're not perfect yet. Getting a feel for how AI thinks, how it generates output is invaluable. Think of it like learning a new language.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you have any specific tools you'd recommend checking out, especially for someone who's into 3D art and animation?
Absolutely. We touched on Gauguin from NVIDIA. That's a great one for playing around with landscapes. And getting a feel for AI image generation. Then there's Google's Magenta, which is more about exploring artistic styles. There's also a tool called Runway ML, which is a bit more advanced, but incredibly powerful for generating images, videos, and even 3D models.
Okay, I'm adding those to my list right now. But beyond just playing around, how can I actually integrate AI into my workflow in a way that enhances my work, rather than just replacing it?
That's the key question, isn't it? Think about the areas where you feel AI could be most helpful. Maybe it's generating textures for your 3D models, or helping you come up with initial concept sketches, or even assisting with some of the more technical aspects of animation.
You know, for me, one of the biggest time sucks is creating those complex, detailed 3D environments for my animations. It'd be amazing to have an AI that could generate a basic cityscape, for example, and then I could go in and customize it to my liking.
That's a perfect example of AI augmentation. You're still the artist, the one with the vision. But AI is handling the grunt work, giving you more time and energy to focus on the creative aspects that you're most passionate about.
And that brings us back to you. Imagine being able to crank out higher quality 3D animations more frequently, because AI is taking care of some of the heavy lifting. That could be huge for building an audience.
Exactly. And it's not just about quantity, it's about quality. AI can help you push the boundaries of what's possible visually, creating effects and animations that would have been impossible or prohibitively expensive to create manually.
It's almost like AI is leveling the playing field, giving independent creators the power to compete with big studios and production companies.
Yeah.
But does that mean we'll all end up creating the same kind of content? Will AI homogenize the YouTube landscape?
That's a valid concern, and it's why it's crucial to see AI as a tool, not a crutch. Don't rely on AI to do all the thinking for you. Instead, use it to enhance your own unique style, your own voice, your own perspective on the world.
So it's like AI can give you the ingredients, but it's up to you to cook up something special. You're still the chef, the one with the creative vision.
Exactly, and that's what will make your content stand out in a sea of AI-generated noise. The human touch, the personal connection, the emotional resonance. Those are the things that AI can't replicate.
And those are the things that audiences crave, even in a world that's increasingly dominated by technology. We want to feel something. We want to connect with the creator behind the content.
That's why I'm not worried about AI replacing human creativity. In fact, I think it might actually make us more human, more aware of what makes us unique and special.
It's like in a world where machines can do almost anything, our humanity becomes even more valuable. Our ability to feel, to empathize, to tell stories that connect with others on an emotional level. That's what will set us apart.
And that's something that YouTubers, especially, are really good at. Building a community, connecting with your audience on a personal level. That's what makes YouTube such a powerful platform. And I think AI can enhance that connection. It can help you create content that's even more engaging, more immersive, more emotionally resonant.
So it's not about AI versus humans. It's about AI and humans working together to create something truly extraordinary.
Exactly. And I think that's a perfect note to end on.
I agree. This has been an incredible deep dive, and I feel like I have a much better understanding of both the challenges and the opportunities that AI presents for artists and content creators.
I'm glad to hear that. And remember, this is just the beginning of the conversation. As AI continues to evolve, we're going to see even more incredible developments, more creative possibilities, and more ethical dilemmas to grapple with.
It's both exciting and a little daunting, but I'm definitely ready for the challenge, and I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to explore the world of AI art and see where their own creative spark leads them.
That's the spirit. Keep creating, keep experimenting, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.